Considering how well the last one went, I have significantly big hopes. Hi, welcome, come on in. My name is Aoife and today I'm taking you through all of the books that I want to read this spring. So this is the fourth of the seasonal TBR videos that I have made on my channel. I started last summer and I didn't make one for last spring, so this is the first spring TBR that I'm going to be making here. My winter TBR was so far the most successful one, the one that I have just done. I read 5 out of the 7 books that I have put on that TBR. So let's hope that this one is just as successful. When it comes to spring reading, I like to think of really happy stories, uplifting stories, love because you've got Valentine's Day in it. I like to read Irish authors because you've got St. Patrick's Day in the middle of it. I like to read stuff that's kind of uplifting and happy rather than your kind of dark thrillers and your cozy books. I leave them for kind of winter and autumn kind of time. I've said that in spring I like to read a lot of Irish authors, and there's going to be 2 on this list. And the first one is Marian Keyes. So I'm going to read Angels, which is the 3rd book in the Walsh Sisters series. I've read the first 2 already. This is going to be a brand new read for me. This is one of Marian's books that I haven't read yet, and I am beyond excited to get started with it. So this book was sent to me very, very kindly by Kirsty from Kirsty Reads blog. And this follows the 3rd of the Walsh sisters, Maggie, who lives in New York. She has a husband called Ger. Her life isn't really going very well. So she decides to kind of spice things up a little bit by moving to Los Angeles and trying to make a career there. I am really excited to read Irish authors, sister relationships, and people who have moved from home to a brand new place. This book seems to have all 3, and I am very, very excited to get reading it. Next Irish author on the list comes with 2 caveats. One, it's actually 2 Irish authors, and I'm not going to be reading it in English or in Irish. So it's the first book in the Oh My God, What a Complete Aisling series. It's OMG Diese Aisling, because I am reading it in German. This is the first book that I am going to try and read completely all the way through in German. But I figured if I was going to start reading in German and try and build my vocabulary and my understanding of the language up, what better way to do that than with a story I already know, something that I've already read in English a couple of times, and a situation that I'm already familiar with. So I know about Irish culture, I know about playing the GAA, I know about moving from a really small town in Ireland to Dublin for college or for work, because these are situations that I've already been through. What I plan on doing while I'm reading this book is taking these sticky notes, and if I come across a word that I don't know, I'm going to actually write it down, and if there's a couple of words on the same page, I'm going to write them all on these little notes, stick it into the page, and at the end of the chapter I'm going to go through a German dictionary or look them up online, and then write in the English translation. If there's an article, write the article with it, the correct one, what verb it is, like what kind of conjugation that the verb goes through, if it's separable or not. And by the end of it, I'm hopefully going to have a bit more of an understanding of German than when I went into it. The next book is the start of the very cute, very cozy romances. And again, it's a book that I'm going to read the whole way through in German. Fingers crossed. It is To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. The 3rd film in the series, Always and Forever Lara Jean, is coming out on Netflix around about Valentine's Day. So I'm going to try and get this read as soon to Valentine's Day as I can. This is also going to be a book that I'm going to read in German, which I'm hoping, again, is going to make my understanding of the language a bit easier. But again, if there's something that I don't understand, like say one of these words that I don't get, I'm going to just put the sticky note in there and come back to it at the end of the chapter, see what I don't understand, and then hopefully my understanding of the language is going to be a little bit more enhanced. Let's see if that's going to work, because I am very skeptical about whether or not I'm going to keep going with it. So those are all the physical books that I am hoping to read in spring this year. Let's take a look at all of the ebooks that I'm going to read. First on the list is The Spark by Jules Wake. And I'm going to admit something. I have read a couple of books by Jules Wake before, but not by Jules Wake. So Jules Wake uses a pseudonym, Julie Kaplan, when she is writing the Romantic Escape series, which is something that I have already spoken about on this channel. And this is kind of a journey away from that, in that it's not about traveling to find romance. It's about finding romance on your own front doorstep. It's not about going to see the world. This is about Jess and Sam, who meet each other on a night out at a party, and their eyes lock, and it's instantly love at first sight. And you would think that that is kind of the recipe for a great relationship, but unfortunately Sam's ex, Victoria, is destined to make their honeymoon period a little bit more rocky than it should be. I have already read the kind of scorned ex trope in American Royals by Catherine McGee, and I really loved how it was done there. So I am really hoping that that is going to be another book that I love this in. The next one on the list is a book that I think I've mentioned about 20 times already on this channel, but it is one that I am super looking forward to reading. It is The Single Dad's Handbook by Lindsay James. This book is about Evan, who has recently lost his wife Claire to cancer. And she leaves him a kind of selection of notes and helpful how-to hints about how to rebuild his life after her passing, how to take care of their daughter Violet, how to kind of look for love again. And I really enjoyed reading that when I was reading P.S. I Love You by Cecilia Ahern, and I understand that it's a quite similar concept to that book, which makes it feel like I'm going to A, bawl my eyes out crying at this book, and B, really enjoy it. The next two books on the list have a little bit of something similar in that they're involved in traveling to the exact same destination, somewhere that is relatively high on my list, but not somewhere that I had planned on going to in 2021. It's just that bit of escapism to see what the country is like while I have to stay indoors, and that is Tokyo in Japan. So the first book that I'm going to read that is set in Tokyo is The Little Tea Shop in Tokyo by Julie Kaplan. You'll remember that that is the pseudonym of Jules Wake, whose book The Spark I've already talked about in this video. So that's a 2-for-1 on the same author. Let's see how I enjoy both of these books. This book is about Fiona, who is a travel blogger and is given an all-expenses-paid trip to Tokyo in Japan, and that is the dream for her. She is so excited to get there, but once she arrives, she accidentally bumps into Gabe, who has broken her heart completely the last time that she saw him, and it's now kind of putting a downer on the trip. Because they're forced together in such close proximity, they're going to be working on the same assignment that they're on. Is there kind of an opportunity for feelings to change and for them to kind of rediscover their relationship and kind of reignite the spark? And the final book that I want to read in spring of this year is again set in Tokyo and set in Japan as a whole, and it is The Broken Heart's Honeymoon by Lucy Dickens. This follows Charlotte, whose husband-to-be leaves her at the altar and doesn't go through with the marriage. So to kind of heal her broken heart, she decides to go on their honeymoon completely alone to kind of reset, switch off from what has just happened and kind of get over it as much as she can. She heads to see Mount Fuji, she goes to see the cherry blossoms in Japan, she goes to all of the karaoke bars which are so popular in Japan. But is there a chance for a romance that's going to put her heart back together? These plus the ebooks are all of the books that I am hoping to get to this spring. Let's come back when spring turns into summer and see if I've actually read any of them. I'm not super hopeful, but it's not a huge list, so let's see what happens. Don't forget to like and subscribe because I have new videos up here every week. Now, get on out of here.